We did it! We did it! The Jaguars did it! That's right! We finally, for the first time in franchise history, get the victory against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm one of your hosts, JT Raymond, host of the Jag Bros, along with my two brothers, Jack and Joey. It feels good to finally win in California.
History in the making. The Jaguars finally win in San Francisco, winning 26-21. It's only the second time since 2008 that the Jaguars have started 3-1, and heck, just a play away from 4-0. And here's what I love. Four games in, 4 weeks in, the Jaguars have a very clear identity that they're going to fight. That Trevor said this last week, hey, we're not going to be bullied. They're going to play physical. They're going to play high energy. And clearly, they have a ball hawking, turnover king type defense. So we've got an identity. And let me throw in one more thing. We're going to run the ball down your throat as well.
It was a great game to watch. Almost everything is firing on all cylinders except the passing game. Hopefully we can start. It looked better at times, but we're still got so many kinks to work out. But other than that, the defense is on fire. The running game's on fire. Special teams had a lot of great moments. There's a few things that we also could fix there. But other than that, we still come away with a big W. That's all that matters. Keep it rolling.
Yes, that's exactly what matters. 3-1, tied for the lead in the AFC South right now with the Colts losing to the Rams on Sunday. So, hey, guys, we're going to be breaking down the game just like we always do. We'll start on the offense, then the defense, and then the special teams. Guys, let's start with game balls. Where are we going with some game balls? It always feels good on a Victory Monday.
Man, I don't know. I feel like before we even pass out game balls, I think we need to talk about the storyline after the game. Joey, you threw out a tweet that already has over 1,000 likes where Coach Coen and Saleh are getting into it. And Coach Coen and all the players love that they're playing for a coach that has energy, fight. It's a competitive game, and he's getting in his face, and he's having to be held back by the offensive lineman. The guys have his back, and I think Duuuval has his back, where you talk about a coach that just represents the city, represents the DNA of the Jaguars. Guys, what'd y'all think about that moment right after the game?
Man, Liam Coen's got the Riz. He is the Rizzly Bear. He is awesome. He is exactly the type of energy Jacksonville's been needing so desperately to get that young, enthusiastic type of coach that's got your team no matter what. And look, I think that the offense, the defense, everybody seems to be playing inspired, seems to be playing energetic. And I think that just it all stems from the head coach in some way.
Oof, JT has a little cringe there with the Riz.
Yeah, I don't think we used that one right, but
also Riz is he's not chatting up Saleh to take him out to dinner. No, it's a bad look on Robert Saleh. I mean, you didn't get the head coach job here. No one asked him about whether we were legally stealing signs or symbols or whatever he was talking about. No one asked him. That just came out of the blue. It was obvious that he already had a grudge against Liam Coen and the Jaguars. And hey, guess what? No one wants you as a head coach. You need to shut your mouth. And it's a bad look also on Shanahan. Dude, you're the head coach. Control your underlings. This is not a head coach. Yeah, just keep your mouth quiet. Sit on the bench and take your L because no one wants to hear you. Liam Coen's here. We should be 4-0, but we're 3-1. Running an amazing team right now. He has us winning even in bad situations. It is a great time to be a Jaguar, and even people who didn't get to be a Jaguar want to be a Jaguar, it seems like.
He might not have that Riz, but he certainly has that dog.
There you go. That's a lot better, JT. That fits. So, and hey, I mean, to your point, Joey, it works a lot better when the Jags win. So that was a great moment, a viral moment, and a team, again, a moment that just fires up the team.
Before game balls, I actually have a trivia question for y'all. Do you know how long the Jags have been playing from behind this season?
It can't be much. I was just thinking about it. The Jags at the end of the first half have seemed to always have the lead. So we were trailing 3 points early. I don't know, maybe 7 minutes total.
Try 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Oh, that's crazy.
We are dominating right now. We are always out front, it seems. And this is such a different team. I knew even when the 49ers got the ball back, I was like, there's no way they go score a touchdown. At most, maybe they get a field goal. This defense bowed up both times in the red zone, down below the 10-yard line, holding them to 2 field goals. It was a great, great time for the defense. It was a great game overall. This Jags team is just something different.
It just feels like the winning culture, even when we've had our moments over the years. It's in the last 25 years. This just feels different. This feels like the 1990s. This feels very replicable. Like it wasn't a fluke. I mean, Jacksonville didn't even play perfect and was going toe to toe with one of the better top 10 teams in the league. Extremely well coached team at home in San Francisco and California, where we historically are terrible.
Back to back tough physical wins where you're breaking curses, right? The Jaguars have struggled against the Texans at home. They finally get a win. They've never won in San Francisco. They get a win. Well, let's pass out some game balls. We're going to start on offense. The offense was not as pretty. Didn't execute as well as the defense did, where the defense kind of carried the day again. But I'm going to give my game ball to the bad boys up front, the offensive line. Another game where they give up 0 sacks. In fact, they only allowed 6 pressures. And then they were able to establish their will in the run game, where they averaged 3.21 yards before contact. I mean, you've got NFL teams out there having negative stats there where they're getting hit before they even hit the line of scrimmage. Heck, that felt like the Jaguars of 2024, where we're getting hit for 0-1 yards and our running backs are having to make incredible plays. So the offensive line, even dealing with some injuries where you had 6, 7, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 guys out there for the Jags offensive line, they fought through injuries and played a really, really good game by the Jags O-line.
Joey, I'll give you credit. For last year, you were hammering just how terrible Phil Rauscher was, our offensive line coach. The night and day difference that this unit has, even when you're down Harrison, one of your starting tackles, to have next man up mentality and to still not give up a sack. Not only are they not giving up sacks, Trevor Lawrence is the least pressured quarterback in the NFL right now through 4 games. And Travis Etienne, your starting running back, is now almost 400 yards, 394 through 4 games, and is the 3rd best running back. Like this is outstanding, unbelievable.
Offensive line is playing so well right now. It was obvious the last 2 years they had a different mindset. Some of these players are the same. Walker Little's the same. Ezra Cleveland's the same. Anton Harrison's the same. So really all it's changed is the center and right guard. It looks so much better because instead of being a finesse offensive line of, oh, we're not going to push you back. We're actually going to do a lot of pulls and we're going to try to be really cutesy with our offensive line. And guess what? People just ran right through that. That's not how you run an NFL style offensive line. You can get away with that with college if you run a spread and you have some smaller guys that you kind of have to do that. But in the NFL, you learn, you got to get down, hands down in the dirt. And it's just who can push each other off the line. And they changed their mentality and they've played so much better.
I'm going to give my game ball to the guy I already mentioned, Etienne. Another outstanding day for him, running for over 100 yards, including that long touchdown early, right after the turnover to give us a 50-plus yard touchdown. That was amazing. He's been great. That was one guy I thought could have a bounce back year, especially considering it's a contract year, and he is more than proving that right now.
I'm going to give my offensive game ball to Travis Hunter with his incredible catch to extend that drive. That was a scoring drive all the way back on our own, 7-yard line. If he doesn't catch that, we're punting it away. It's a 4-point game. They're going to get great field position. It was a turning point in the game that allowed us to get a large lead and kind of sustain it and keep the lead the entire time against the 49ers. It was an incredible catch, and I need to see more Travis Hunter in this offense. He is playing very well. I don't care if he's semi-covered, Lawrence. Please throw it to him. He shows you he can go get it, and he'll come down with it.
Big time play from Hunter there on that 3rd and 15 where we were getting backed up inside our own 10. And so let's switch over to defense. Defense played phenomenal. Yes, gave up 21 points, but had 4 turnovers, setting a franchise record of 4 games in a row with 3+ turnovers. Clearly first in the NFL in terms of turnover kings, and add on a turnover on downs as well. But the game ball for me on defense has to go to the MVP of the game, Agent Zero. Devin Lloyd was playing at a superstar level on Sunday. Was a nightmare for the 49ers, for CMC, for Brock Purdy. He had 8 tackles, multiple QB hurries, 2 interceptions. And I love how every time he gets an interception, he's trying to return it. He's like breaking tackles. He is desperate for that pick 6. But James Gladstone is going to have his hands full because, to your point, JT, Etienne is in a contract year playing fantastic. Devin Lloyd is in a contract year playing at a superstar level in these last couple of games. But game ball to me has to go to Agent Zero, Devin Lloyd.
I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but after the game, Jordan Lewis tweeted, said, hey, I'm going to say the quiet part out loud, and I'm going to say this man deserves to be paid. Talk about Devin Lloyd. So really awesome game for him. I will give my game ball to the same person that Liam Coen gave the actual game ball to, and that is Arik Armstead. He leads Jacksonville right now this season with sacks with 2.5. He's been excellent on defensive tackle. Really, a lot of teams struggle to run the ball on against us, and then to come away with that game-defining strip sack when realistically, I mean, despite the fact that it felt like Jacksonville was definitely going to win that game, I mean, they were 50 yards away from losing that game. And so for him to get that strip sack against Purdy in his own, on his former team, that was huge.
Shout out to Armstead, and look who was just a second behind him too, was Devin Lloyd again. In fact, the announcers thought it was Lloyd on that strip sack. But what a cool redemption moment. Obviously, Armstead played for the 49ers for many, many years. This was his first time in the visitor locker room. It was just an emotional, cool, powerful moment for him and for the Jags to get that win.
And then I'll give my game ball to a new guy to the Jaguars, Dennis Gardeck. He had the first forced fumble with a great punch out on Luke Farrell, the ex-Jaguar. It was a perfect strip from him. He's been playing well. He's got the Trevor Lawrence hair, if you've seen him. People calling him the Barbarian. He has been all over the place, making tackles, playing very well. Loved seeing him get a huge play for us, setting up that Etienne run after the next play. It is great to see this defense taking the ball and then the offense scoring off those takeaways.
Man, I love it. I love seeing we're getting some newcomers having breakout games, getting game balls. We're having some of these guys that have had tough recent last 2-3 years, but they're playing at a high level. And as always, we're going to break down the game. So we break down the offensive performance, then defense, and then special teams, because that's going to be really important. Just go ahead and give a hint. You know, you could easily throw a game ball to 2 of the massive returns with Parker Washington and Bayshaw Tootin having big momentum plays on special teams. But I also want to give a shout out, as we always do, to the closest to the actual prediction. All 3 of us predicted another Jags victory, so we are 3-1 as well. But Jay on X had it as a 27-17 game, so only 5 points off. So shout out to you, Jay. Make sure all y'all are engaging with us as we drop those predictions. But who wants to get us started? Offensive. Let's start on the positive side. Let's just keep the rolling. It's Victory Monday. What did you like from the offense on Sunday?
Running game, for sure. I thought was very great. I thought Tootin played well. He ran hard. He didn't get that 1 3rd down and 1, but I mean, he broke like 3 or 4 tackles.
That's awesome.
Just unfortunately, there were so many 49ers all coming at him. He couldn't get it, but the non-quit in him, I love to see that. Etienne obviously had an incredible game. He had the big touchdown run, but also had another pretty big run that was like 30 yards and was just really solid the entire time. Really love seeing this offense run the ball well.
Yeah, our running attack is excellent. I mean, Tootin is fantastic. And look, the limited times we see LaQuint Allen too, the third string guy, he's been
Very
great
solid.
too. And so,
Very solid.
yeah, there's
Except for running out of bounds on the kick
Yeah,
return.
special teams that was bad.
It was a weird
true,
play.
but I don't think that's going to be a mistake that he makes too often.
No.
But yeah, look, all the running attack is great. And Joey, you I was surprised you didn't give the game ball to Mr. Safety Blanket himself, Brenton Strange. I mean, he is the one guy he leads Jacksonville right now in receptions. And he's been very reliable. He's been open. I think he has 19 receptions on the year at this point. He's somebody that Trevor looks to and trusts to actually make the catch, especially when you have a lot of the other guys who aren't necessarily catching the ball.
Hey, we did clean that up finally, so that was nice. But I did want to give a shout out because Liam Coen did in the press conference as well. We've been loving this running back room. In fact, when we broke down all the positions, that was one of the rooms we're like, man, we're really high on the Jags running back room. Well, part of that, Liam Coen says Chad Morton, the Jags running back coach, he says it's the best guy in the business, the best he's been around. And clearly what he's been able to do with two rookies and then have Travis Etienne playing at, 2022. Honestly, this may be even a level that we haven't seen yet from Etienne. That 48-yard touchdown, that momentum play by Travis Etienne bouncing it out to the left tackle, great block by Brenton Strange and by Walker Little, but he is, at first you're like, oh, okay, this is a nice play. It's going to be 10, 15 yards, and he jukes the guy to the left, and he just runs past all the 49ers. That was just a great run, and he ran hard. In fact, my biggest complaint with the offense was we didn't run the ball enough on certain drives. Like, it felt like when the Jags had these 3 and outs on offense, the offense stalled. Like, we just weren't running the ball enough. So that's my one critique, where it seems like the Jags get stuff. You've got to feed what works, and clearly what was working on Sunday was the Jags rushing attack.
See, I have a slightly different take on that. I think teams are now starting to load up on the run. Well, first off, two things. One, I think Liam Coen does prefer to pass over run. But two, I think teams fear our rushing attack. And so when they're loading the box, the one thing that Liam Coen consistently does is he doesn't run into a crowded box. He on obvious rundowns, he's not necessarily always running it. And on obvious passing downs, he's not necessarily always passing it. So I think he's taking what the defense gives you. So like yes, it would be great if we could run the ball a little bit more consistently. But I think what he would say is like, look, you watch the film, they're begging you to pass. That is where the mismatch is. And oftentimes we've actually had open receivers, and it's at times Trevor overthrowing them, and at times it's guys dropping the ball. So I hear you. And there's points in this game where we go through these lulls. But I don't have any qualms with the run pass mix or how we're playing or how we're calling this game.
I don't even think a lot of it's Liam Coen. It looks like a lot of times Trevor checks out of a run when he sees that heavy box. He checks out always to a pass, and I think it's more Trevor that wants to pass the ball more than run it. But I mean, it's time to get to it. Trevor is playing well enough to win, but it's not good enough, I think. I mean, I look out there and I see open guys that he's missing. I see where he's throwing it to the wrong person when Parker Washington's open downfield, and then he throws it down to tight end who's already covered, and then it's high, so it gets tipped. And there was multiple times where it almost was intercepted. Needs to get cleaned up. It needs to come down. The ball was soaring on him a little bit. I feel like Trevor has played better in the last few years. I'm not seeing quite the same Trevor where he was able to kind of get the ball down the field. It seems like he's checking down a lot. It seems like he is overthrowing or is off target quite often. I'm not sure what's going on. It has to get better.
Well, look, I think we've talked about. I think Trevor's ceiling is Goff, is Mayfield, is one of those type of guys. He's not the Burrow. He's not that elite guy. But how many times have we seen over the last couple of years
at that level? He's
correct. Correct. You're right. He's not playing at that level today, but that is his ceiling. And look how many times have we seen in the last couple of years, Geno Smith, like 8 years into his NFL career, start breaking out. Sam Darnold. Now this year we're seeing it with Daniel Jones. You're seeing all these quarterbacks take a little bit longer. But my point is, I feel like Trevor's getting consistently slightly better each game. And I think he's also getting consistently slightly more confident each game. I thought some of the times when he took off and run were at key moments, and like that just speaks to his confidence. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's had multiple different offensive coordinators in multiple different years, and oftentimes suboptimal and sub average coordinators. So you're talking about a guy he's learning how to trust. And yeah, I do think he still struggles to make full field reads, but I don't know. I see a path where he is in that kind of 5 to 10th best quarterback in the league, potentially by the end of the year, if he continues on this trajectory. That's a really good defense. Robert Saleh has been known for creating a lot of havoc and a lot of challenging reads for quarterbacks. And look, I thought Trevor played nice. He didn't play perfect, but he played nice.
No, yeah. And I'm not giving up on him or anything. I'm just saying, he's playing at a Ryan Tannehill level, I feel like. Playing well enough to win like the Titans did, and the Titans ran the ball and had a very good defense, and that's how they won game. But this is Trevor Lawrence. He needs to be better than what he's doing right now, and I think he can. I'm just not seeing him push the ball down the field. I don't know if he's scared to make that throw or if Liam Coen's telling him, hey, just take the underneath pass, which I'm for 75% of the time. Always take the underneath, but don't be afraid to take that deep pass.
But Robert Saleh's defense is a lot of too high, keep things underneath. The bend don't break. It's exactly what Trevor took, was exactly what he should have been taking. I disagree with the fact that he should be pushing down the field. There are times when I think Bengals fans get so frustrated when why aren't we unlocking Jamar Chase all the time with Burrow? And it's yes, because everybody's making sure that they don't take the defense off of you unless you're Ryan Nielsen and deciding to play press man coverage all the time on Chase.
Breaking down Trevor's game is really, really interesting here. On the positive side, which, hey, celebrate this, Trevor Lawrence did not have a turnover. This is the first time in 7 starts, although he technically did and got bailed by that penalty when he was throwing to Travis Hunter. But, hey, it still doesn't count. So 0 turnovers. The Jags win the turnover battle 4-0, which is insane. I thought he played well, and I agree more with you, JT. I think this was a tougher defense than we played. They did not want to get beat deep, but going forward, I do think it is concerning that we haven't seen the Jags go deep, because you should have. Now, again, there's a lot of context here. BTJ's had a massive drop problem. He finally did not drop. He had that weird play on the sideline, but 0 drops from him. I don't know that we had any other drops as well, maybe 1. You do need to start to unleash the deep ball to keep defenses honest. That's the best way to get defenses not crowding the box, because you do have BTJ and you do have Travis Hunter, 2 of, in theory, the best at going deep. Trevor's got a cannon. So I don't know. Maybe it's Monday night where we see Trevor Lawrence go deep. But I also want to mention another wrinkle that you mentioned, JT, was Trevor running the ball. He had his most carries since 2023. And Trevor's kind of playing this weird game the last couple times, which we haven't really seen. He doesn't play pretty, but in the clutch moments, he makes plays.
Yes.
That felt like the opposite of the last couple of years with Trevor Lawrence. He made those big plays to go out and win against Houston, another tough defense. And then he made the big plays to seal the game, where there was still some concern. We get the ball back and you're like, uh-oh, it's 2nd and 11. The 49ers are fully selling out, fully blitzing to stop the run. And then you still have a 3rd and 5, and he's able to make that rollout, able to hit that backup tight end, get that first down, and go kneel the ball. So I'm talking too much, but this is my final thought on the offense. The good thing is the offense is not in final form. This is the 3rd game out of 4 where we got over 26 or more points, and there still feels like there is so much left for the offense to do and to get better. And that should be really exciting to all Jags fans.
Look, my biggest concern, and maybe you guys can talk me off the ledge, but this is now multiple years, multiple different running backs, multiple different situations. The 3rd and 1 and 3rd and short game for Jacksonville is abysmal. That feels like we're still at about 50-50. It feels like sometimes we have a better chance of converting a 3rd and 6 than we do a 3rd and 1. And so I don't know what, especially with the offensive line playing as well as they have. To me, that is the one thing that's look, we need to clean that up. And that's more concerning to me than Trevor's play.
I think we had 3 short field position, like a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and we converted 2 of them with Trevor sneaks. The only one we didn't was the Tootin one, and that wasn't because we couldn't get there. It was because there was about 8 different 49ers who all hit Tootin, and he was still trying to drive and get that first down. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I mean, it used to be your running back was getting hit behind the line and you were losing yardage.
True.
This time we're getting it 75% or 66% of the time. I don't know
Today,
where you
yes,
came up.
but even the Trevor
And the other
sneaks,
games
boy,
we're
that
getting
was risky. That I did not think we were getting
He
that
did
one.
get stopped at line. There was one more that I can think of as a 3rd and 2 where Etienne only gets 1, and then it's 4th and 1, and we have that weird false start. And that's the other thing. I mean, clearly penalties, false starts, delay games. Again, this is where the Jaguars offense doesn't feel like. I don't know if y'all ever played. Did you guys ever play Dragon Ball Z? Shout out to the Avrils. I remember going over to their house, but like your character evolves until they get to final form. Well, it still feels like the Jaguars offense is like really, really far from final form.
Preseason form.
Correct, which is annoying. But at the same time, you're like, okay, at least we're still winning games and like able to hopefully clean this up going forward. Because if you can, you're like, all of a sudden, can we be dropping 30 points a game regularly? That feels so far fetched from the last several years of Jacksonville Jaguars football.
I mean, yeah, we're constantly leaving points out on that field on this offense. I mean, that first delay of game was awful. Liam Coen didn't get the timeout in time. Trevor was changing the play with 5 seconds left to go. At that point, you just got to run the play. There's no point of changing the play.
I think that was purposeful.
And then not only did you get the delay of game, but then you had to call a timeout on the next play because you weren't going to get it off again. Like, that's really bad. And then you had another illegal motion. You had false starts. Granted, I thought this was one of the worst referee games that I've seen in a long time. I mean, 49ers were holding us outrageously and not a single call on the 49ers and way too many non-hold calls on us. It was really apparent and atrocious how lopsided those referees were calling the game. But still, you can't have delay of games. You can't have false start. Like,
yeah, you can't have. They had 12 penalties for 90 yards. You can't have 12 penalties.
And look, that's probably something that they are like, we will take that if a lot of those are aggression and playing with energy.
Very true.
But you don't want the procedural ones. You don't want some of the other ones. But Joey, you brought up the defense and getting held. Let's switch over to that side because this is a game where the defense of the two was the better unit again, primarily led by the turnovers. And something that's different in 2023, we were top 3 in turnovers, but it feels extremely different because that year it felt like, oh, this is a bad defense, and they just with a bunch of turnovers. This is like, oh, this is a solid unit. And then they also lead the league in turnovers. So it's been a really fun to watch these guys play.
Oh, they played the best bend don't break defense that I've seen. Like, yes, the 49ers had 2 long drives, but guess what? It got within the 10-yard line and we stopped them both for field goals. Those were touchdowns on every other Jaguar defense, but we stopped them. We held them. It didn't matter how well they drove down the field. As long as they don't get into the end zone, it's a huge victory. Plus, we're taking the ball away. We're punching at it. We're picking it off. And I feel so bad for Josh Hines-Allen. The dude is playing incredible, and he can't buy a sack. I know it looks like, oh, he's not playing that well. He is always in the backfield, in the face of the quarterback, causing these bad throws to get picked off because he's putting Trent Williams into Brock Purdy's lap multiple times. He's like a split second away from all these sacks. Eventually, he will start to get them, but he has wrecked this game for this defensive line, and he needs to keep doing it because eventually those will turn into sacks and he'll have the numbers for it. But man, that offensive line was holding us outrageous. I mean, it was in the face of the refs and they weren't calling holds. It was atrociously bad by the refs.
So I think at this point, again, and this is what I'm excited about, because now you're 4 games in. Turnovers can sometimes be this kind of fluky or lucky stat. Well, you're 4 games in. And to me, you've established an identity. Joey, you talked about punching the ball. That's what every coach, every defensive player after the game, and every press conference for the Jaguars talked about. They said, hey, we work at this all the time. In fact, they had another forced fumble that didn't get recovered. I mean, we almost had 5 turnovers in this game, and throw in that turnover on downs as well. This is their identity. And this defense is clutch. Every big moment, every time it felt like, hey, the 49ers are getting momentum. As a Jags fan, I'm starting to sweat. I'm starting to get worried. Like, are we going back to the old Jaguars? The defense made a big play. Back-to-back games. The other team has an opportunity to either go take the lead or to tie the game with less than 2 minutes. And our defense both times gets a big turnover. It's their identity. The Jaguars right now are the turnover kings of the NFL. Crown him.
Dude, Joey, you called it about Josh Hines-Allen too. He was up against Trent Williams. Trent Williams is a Hall of Fame offensive tackle. The dude's made 11 Pro Bowls, 3-time first-team All-Pro. He is awesome. He has oftentimes been thought of as the secret reason why the 49ers have been so successful offensively. And Josh Hines-Allen completely outplayed him. Now, Trent Williams is also 37 years old, so it's not like he's in his prime. But we're still talking about a guy who knows ball and knows how to play, and Josh Hines-Allen completely whipped him. The defense makes incredible stops, makes big time tackles. I feel like I think we were top 5 in missed tackles still. So like giving up the least amount of missed tackles for the defense. It's look across the board defensively, it's incredible. And all those free agencies that we talked about, I was super high on Murray. He's been great. Jordan Lewis has been awesome. And Dennis Gardeck, boy, it feels like you have 2 Andrew Wingards out there running around with their long hair flowing. Yeah,
Big
look,
hits.
it's fun. And even Arik Armstead, which was a previous free agency guy, is now finally starting to break out.
Anthony Campanelli is getting this defense so ready for every game. He is so confident. He's telling Liam Coen, hey, it's okay. We got this. And he goes down and wins the game for us 2 times in a row. He has this defense playing at all cylinders, a perfect defense, honestly. And I have a bad feeling things are getting tossed around on X about how the Dolphins are going to fire Mike McDaniel and they're going to go after Anthony Campanelli this offseason. And I would hate to lose him after we finally found a DC who is incredible and is turning this defense into a top 5 defense right now out there. It is so good to see this defense back to where it was. Ryan Nielsen should be cut from every football team because this shows you, hey, this is what this defense could have been. And you had them as the 32nd worst defense. And hey, the same guy changed like a few players and now they're a top 5 defense. Yeah, you need to get out of the league because you know nothing about defense.
I'm less worried about that happening. I mean, we have a long season. We're also played against 3 teams, and some of those teams are against their backup quarterbacks. They were severely hampered with injuries. So let's not worry too much about the about somebody coming in and stealing him at this point. But look, he's been great. They've been better than expected, and each week I keep moving them up. I think after last week I moved them up to somewhere around 20th. I think at this point they are in that kind of 12 to 15 range, which is incredible considering where we thought they might be.
12 to 15 range for the defense?
Yeah.
Oh, you're crazy. They're
What do you have them?
10.
I mean, look, you played
kidding
against
me?
Brown. Joey, you still gave up like a ton of points to a 49ers team that has 0 wide receivers. You still gave up 20 plus points to the Browns, who
Not
were
the
playing with
Browns.
Jake Browning for 3
Not the
quarters of
Browns.
that game.
Browns. It's the
Sorry,
Bengals.
the
who
Bengals.
also
Sorry.
have the 2 best wide receivers.
Yeah, but you're talking about a backup
Duo.
quarterback threw up 20 on you in that game. So like, look, I'm not saying that they're not like each like
They
maybe I'm
also
too
picked
conservative.
them off 3 times.
Correct.
I don't blame the defense for a lot of the points. I blame more the offense for constantly giving the ball back to the other offense. You want to score, you want them to score less? Keep the ball in the offensive hands, have long drives. The first quarter, there were 2 drives. And then all of a sudden there were multiple drives because we are going 3 and out. and we're also getting picks and stuff like that. But if you want this team to not have to give up so many points, the offense has to have longer, sustainable drives, which they haven't done, which means they get more chances to score.
So the good thing is the Jags have won every time of possession, in big part because of the turnovers. They won this battle by about 5 minutes of game time, which is a ton in the NFL. But I'm so glad we brought this up because honestly, this is how I feel about the Jags defense. If you took away some of these turnovers, like there is a degree of just making great catches. Mason Smith actually had that deflection on the line, the ball that looked like straight to Devin Lloyd. Well, that was actually a great play by Mason Smith to deflect it, and then it goes right to Devin Lloyd. But like if the 49ers fall on a couple more of these fumbles, then yeah, you're talking about a 49ers team that put up about 400 yards. Brock Purdy goes for over 300 yards. You're probably in that 12 to 15 range. But if the Jaguars continue to put up 2, 3, 4 turnovers a game, it's hard not to make an argument that this is a top 5 defense because you look at the 3 wins that the Jags have and almost a 4-0 start. The offense has really massively underperformed and the defense is kind of carrying the day in almost all of these games. So it will be interesting to see, can the Jaguars keep this streak of turnovers up enough? But there's no question, hats off, have to go over and over and over again to Coach Camp because he has taken what all of us said preseason is like, that's probably like a 20th ranked, 22nd ranked defense in terms of talent. And all of us would say we've massively outperformed that.
Yeah, and look, they can keep getting better because Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball has not really been integrated that much. Offensively, I think he has 13 catches for 115 yards or something. Nothing special, even though he's made a couple of special plays, especially on some key third downs. And then defensively, he's played well, but it's not like he's playing every single snap, and he hasn't been contributing to the interception train that we've already had so far. So look, I agree with you, Joey, and maybe after next week I move them up to top 7. But right now I had them in like a bottom 5 defense at the start of the year. So like I'm slowly moving them up 5 to 7 spots each week. But yeah, I mean, you could make the argument if I didn't anchor them at 32nd, how have they played? Yeah, they probably are playing top 5 level defense right now.
But I mean, after 4 games, like I get it. First game, second game, maybe even a third game. You're like, who knows? After 4 games, this is their identity. This is who they are. And it is now a proven fact. They haven't shown you anything else. Like, this is who they are.
Well, and I wanted to circle back to where we started with when we're talking about defense. So much credit has to go to Devin Lloyd. He had to have played his best game as a Jaguar in a teal jersey. And you know what made this really special? And, I think all Jags fans will appreciate this. You know how you just remember like certain plays, even from Jags games randomly years ago? The play that I kept thinking about all week was the last time we went up against the 49ers. We were feeling ourselves 2 years ago. We were coming off a 5-game win streak, and the 49ers blow the doors off us. And there was one big play that I still remember where George Kittle blows right past Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd misses that tackle. He goes for a 60 or 70-yard touchdown, and it felt like the game was over after that. Well, Devin Lloyd also had a big redemption game where 2 interceptions, again, just hitting everyone hard. Every fumble, every play, it seemed like 0 was right around the ball. He's just played so well. It's crazy what Coach Campanelli has unlocked in Devin Lloyd, a guy that most Jags fans were like, hey, is he even going to make the team? Is he going to be a backup? Coach Camp has unlocked something special in Devin Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. I'd say give Devin Lloyd a contract now to save yourself from having to pay him even more money because he's playing so well right now, and I would hate to see him get out of a Jags jersey.
There's a quick question for you. Would you rather sign Devin Lloyd at this point, or would you rather sign your boy Aluakon? Because that's basically, I feel like the decision that has to be made. I know that Aluakon's not a contract player this year, but that to me is what it kind of comes down to.
I think long term, I think you want Devin Lloyd, unfortunately. I love Aluakon. I think he is the captain of this defense, and you got to do kind of what you need to keep him there. But he's also a little older, a little more journeyman, and Devin Lloyd was your first round pick. He's finally taking off and showing you a first round talent. and I think you got to let him grow as a Jaguar.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I was just curious to know how you would answer that, considering I know you're also a huge Foye fan.
Oh, well, I don't know exactly when his contract ends, but if it's in a year or two, then yeah, I would hate to have to see Foye go, but I would rather keep Devin Lloyd at the moment. He is growing into a leader. I see he's the one who's giving the pep talk for the defense. He's becoming what Foye kind of is, and I love seeing it. It would be better for the Jaguars if he became the head linebacker.
He's a guy that I think we all wanted out of Utah. Look, let's spend just a couple minutes talking about special teams. The good, obviously, the great return by Parker Washington for a touchdown at a real critical moment. This is another kind of time when Jacksonville's offense was stalling out. And so to get that quick score was huge. And then Tootin having a big return right at the end of the half to set up a field goal was huge as well. So mostly positive on the special teams outside of obviously the kicker missing, unfortunately, his second kick this year. So something to keep our eyes on is see how he continues to bounce back. And honestly, sometimes a little bit head scratching. Why we're on the 40-yard line on their territory and deciding not to attempt a 57-yard field goal.
So my only thought there is none of us were in San Francisco for the game. So if any Jags fans were there, I know Danny Ziebman was there. So Danny, let us know. But from that one kick that he made, I think it was like 40, 45 yards, somewhere in that range. It clearly was very windy, kept pushing the ball back. But yeah, you had two opportunities where the Jags choose to punt right around the 40, which is very obviously and clearly in Cam Little's range. The good thing is he's still 9 for 11. 82%. And the great thing is the Jags still win, because I heard this a lot on 1010 XL, and I thought this was a great point. When Cam Little misses that field goal, the last 2 seasons of the Jaguars, you'd be like, all right, pack it up. We're going to lose. Brock Purdy's going to drive. They're going to score a touchdown.
Try the last 20 seasons the Jaguars lose that game.
Yes. But, at least in 2022, we had some magic. 2017, we had a little bit of magic. Well, hey, again, the Jags defense comes up clutch. So it is something to watch, but the returns were fantastic. Tootin getting that big play, setting up a field goal, giving us a little bit added cushion going into the half. And then Parker Washington, that was the play of the second half in terms of offense or special teams. The Jags offense only put up 3 points other than that. And so going and getting that 86-yard punt return touchdown was a huge play by Parker Washington.
Yeah, after one of the worst returns I've ever seen out of LaQuint Allen, putting the ball on like the 7-yard line, catching it and going automatically out of bounds. I think he didn't know kind of where he was on the field. Then, yes, Parker Washington, Tootin, incredible returns. The Cam Little, you could tell the wind was whipping. And I also think Liam Coen kind of get it. You can have all the trust in the world, but you can still it's difficult to kick field goals. They prove that on College Game Day when they have random people kick it and the pressure's on and everything. It's very difficult. And if you miss, then all of a sudden you're giving the ball back on like the 40, and they have great field position. So I understand
it's a 47 in the NFL because of they spot it from where you kick the ball, not where the line of scrimmage is like college.
Exactly. And difficult. And I mean, that kick was so close to being good too. It wasn't like missed by that much. So I'm not worried about Cam Little. I think he's going to be just fine. It was still a really good kick. It just needed to start a little further left. And as you said, Jack, the wind was whipping and was definitely a factor, a little bit of it. Not worried one bit about Cam Little.
Joey, you mentioned College Game Day. And before we wrap up and get ready for the big Monday night matchup versus Kansas City, I have a fun question for y'all. How far do you think you could kick a field goal if you had 5 tries to make one?
5 tries?
You only got to make one.
30-yarder maybe?
No way.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't know. I haven't kicked a field goal in so long. But I feel like I could hit a 30-yarder.
You guys are crazy. Either that or you're way more. You've gotten way better at kicking than I would have thought. See, I would guess like 18. I'd guess like an extra point. 18, 19.
No, I've kicked a 25er before, and it's very difficult.
When in high school?
I had 2
last week.
Kicks. What? No, I mean, yeah, this was a long time ago.
Joey's stronger now. Give me the 30.
My leg, yeah,
we got to test this at some point. I don't know. I think I could get it close to a 30.
Yeah,
Joey, what do
I
you
got
squad
5
these days?
tries. I only have to make one. I think a third. Now, if we're talking about like in a game situation, lineup.
No,
because
we're
they would get
talking.
blocked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys are
Like,
way
I maybe be able to
overestimating.
get like a
5
20
times is
or-
not that much. Like if I took 5 free throws, I'm not even sure if I'm always going to hit one of those.
Well, we know. We've seen your basketball shot. Well, anyways, that was just for fun, just entertaining. But the big news now is the Jaguars are tied for first in the AFC South with the Colts. The Texans are 1-3. Titans looking abysmal, 0-4. But it's all about to go down in Jacksonville next Monday night. So make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe because we're going to be breaking down, previewing what looks like the biggest game of the Jaguar season up to this point. The 3-1 Jaguars versus the 2-2 Kansas City Chiefs. Can the Jags continue to break these curses and go get a win on Monday night? Find out in our next episode. But we're going to close it out on Victory Monday. Duuuval.